Hello, this is Danny Raymond, the voice behind Ray's Guide. Last Friday's Inside Star Citizen Q&A on the distribution centers, one thing that they confirmed was that there will be quite a variety of them, but only on Hurston and Microtech, because ArcCorp is built differently, and Crusader, well, of course, Crusader doesn't have a surface.
This release, planets only.
Right, and when you say planets, I assume that we can take out Crusader and we can take out ArcCorp. Crusader because there is no surface that we can reach, and ArcCorp because it's not made in the same way that Hurston and Microtech. So these are 13 split amongst Hurston and Microtech for 323.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, of course, but that doesn't include the 3 that are already there. And if you're wondering what the hell I'm talking about, I am talking about what probably the least visited major locations in the verse. Chances are you have never visited them, and chances are the content creators that you follow hasn't covered them, including, until just now, me. Because this is not Orison, or Orison, or whatever. At least they are nowhere near where you think Orison is. This is Prospect Point. Or is it Cloud Rest Retreat, or Empyrean Park? Hard to say, they all sort of blend together. But these 3 locations were added in 3.21.0 and included by reference and not even by name in the patch notes. With 3.21, we are bringing back the Repel Raid on Orison missions, originally called Platform Assault on Orison. These FPS combat missions around Orison will now utilize newly added platform clusters that had been placed around Crusader. And if that scant mention wasn't enough to assure inattention, there was also the fact that 3.21 release had the new jump point stations. So obviously that was where all the attention went to. But here they are, 3 locations way too large to be called outposts. So although they aren't yet functioning as distribution centers, where do they fit in the hierarchy of locations? They aren't stations, they aren't landing zones, and as I said, they are way, way larger than outposts. So conceding that they aren't yet functional as distribution centers, what are the defining characteristics that we have been told about distribution centers, and are they here?
Centers, the big, giant microcosms of all FPS-related gameplay in the persistent universe that are coming online in Alpha 323. I like that word, microcosm.
Well, first, distribution centers are huge. Well, double check on that. There are multiple platforms, and overall the playable area greatly exceeds that of Inspiration Park, the site of Siege of Orison. Second, they are set up that multiple things can be going on at once. Definitely. In fact, the larger platforms are big enough that multiple things could be going on just that one platform. Third, they have instanced hangars. Yes, there are several platforms with multiple buildings that look like they are intended to serve as hangars. Fourth, they have executive areas that can serve as locations for missions against corporations, including potentially raid-scale event opportunities. True. In fact, if you were an org leader and were looking for a dramatic place to stage a big battle event, well, there are several of them here. Fifth, they are presumed to be able to store huge quantities of goods for shipping. Definitely that. Sixth would be large enough there would be even missions to deliver cargo from one part of the distribution center to another. Considering that there are several of these large platforms, that not only seems possible, but even necessary. Seventh, there are roadways around them to use as vehicles, and on many of the platforms, they are there. And eighth, they are also presumed to be industrial locations, and there are large platforms that appear to be pressure vessels for gaseous contents. Honestly, if fully activated, I would expect these to be major supply locations for gaseous commodities. It makes more sense than their current locations. So, if you're building a taxonomy of all the places in Star Citizen, these would be in the genus of distribution centers. Obviously, they are not ready to function as distribution centers, but that is a separate question. My point is that if you presume with Star Citizen Live that if they were going to bring distribution centers to Crusader and other gas giants planets, that they would have to start all the way back at concept art. But then you'd be wrong. They would be starting here, which, depending on the platform, might be late gray box to mid-final art. That's still a lot of work left to do. I don't want to trivialize it, but it is also a certainly non-trivial amount of work that they've already done. So, should they complete it and make these functional as distribution centers? Yes, but obviously they should complete the current terrestrial distribution centers first. Nor should it be presumed that the people who built the land-based distribution centers have to be the ones who complete these. After all, a slightly different vision is often beneficial. Anyway, the impression that I had from listening to other players and other content creators was that these locations were pretty much unknown and unvisited. Were you aware of them? Have you ever done any of the 3.21 and later Repel Raid on Orison missions that are the sole content occurring here? Now, for an update on our giveaways, we continue to make progress towards our goals of giving away the Zippy Zazzy Zaftig Zephyr, the Zeus 2 cargo, as well as our larger goal, the magnificent multi-role mining meta, the Arasta. One entry per video, just be a member for automatic entry, or subscribe and comment, somehow including the secret word. And the secret word for this video is any of the names of the 3 distribution centers on Orison. Fly safe, keep it real, and I'll see you in the verse. This is Daniel Raymond for Ray's Guide.